Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the August 27th, 2022 new moon in Virgo. Now, the new moon in astrology can be a time when people have much enterprise and initiative. There may be an abundance and surfeit of energy. It could be a very revitalizing and rejuvenating time for many. Now, what may have prohibited you and held you back may now be discarded. The superfluous can be tossed away to make a start on something serious in one's life. The new moon is introspective. It can reflect the planning or beginning phase of a project or endeavor. Now, with this being at 4 degrees Virgo, which is it's a critical degree in astrology, it may be more intensified and accentuated. Now, what may begin with the new moon in Virgo may conclude with the full moon in Pisces. Now, what may start out with hard work and industry, which is Virgo, may end with a fantasy being fulfilled, which is Pisces. Another example, what may start out with extensive editing on something, which is Virgo, may culminate with a film or poetry project completed. Now, and also, too, another example, like what may start out with, say, as an idea of a product associated with health, may end with some kind of, you could say, revelation or unveiling of some, innovative vaporizer. Pisces rules vapors, and now this the transit of this new moon in Virgo can impact all collectively, but especially those with a Virgo or Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant. Now Virgo, of course, because it's going to be in its own sign, and the zodiac sign Cancer, well, obviously because the moon rules Cancer, and Cancer is simply affected strongly by all transits and phases of the moon. This may play a role as to why Cancer is so moody, fickle, and temperamental, and this could be more intensified if it makes a conjunction to one's Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant. Now, many may start a new health or diet or exercise regime at this time, which could include working out vigorously, and where many may start to compile or extrapolate data. The NFL season, the regular season of the NFL, is not not going to be far away, and you're going to have this many people projecting, extrapolating football stats. And if, let's say, especially I would say if this falls in the fifth house of sports, and let's say also too, again, it can be the beginning of a diet, just industry in general, service, some kind of employment, or study. Now, if let's say if this falls in the eighth house, as an example, it could be starting some kind of analytical astrology or psychology. Um, and it might be, beginning in some cases could even be, a very precise, painstaking, which is Virgo. It could be operation. The eighth house rules surgery. Now, for many, it could be the start of simply taking more health precautions, sanitation, cleaning, organizing. It could be the start of that for some people. It could be, let's say if this falls in the 11th house, it could be maybe compartmentalizing, defragging, which is Virgo, computers, which is the 11th house. And also, it could be just the beginning of being more hygienic for some people. If it falls, say, in the third house, it could be the start of maybe diagnosing cars. And Virgo is about, analysis, diagnosis. The third house, is connected with short journeys. Now, for some people, now especially I would say if it falls in what I call one of the money houses, the second, sixth, or 10th house in one's chart, it could be the start of some new Virgo, profession or job. And it can be, some examples, it could be doing something in analytics, compiling data, data entry, working as a professional organizer, or something with the health and fitness field. It could be working as a fitness instructor or doctor or nutritionist. It might be something starting something which requires you being very punctilious with details, something with data entry, computer programming, or statistician as some examples. Hold on a second, see what else is going on this new moon. Now it's also I want to talk about, as far as the house, this falls in. Now that it's important to see what house it falls in, because of course that could naturally impact the delineation and interpretation for you. Now mine is going to fall in the 5th house. Now with the football season just coming around the corner, maybe I might start doing these NFL prediction videos. Again, I didn't do many last season. This is about could be about extrapolating or projecting data for sports. Maybe I'll get into fantasy football. I doubt it, but that is a possibility. Now, it could be about projecting numbers for individual players, and it's also this might be a time for me to start having more critical analysis, which is Virgo, of my love life, which is the 5th house, and or lack of it, or just some kind of analysis connecting with understanding what's going on in my life in terms of fun, amusement, and enjoyment. Now, another thing too is to keep in mind, even though new moon in astrology is generally auspicious, I believe in some instances, it could signify a new health-related issue. And I would say especially if this falls in the 1st or 6th house in one's chart. The 1st house is associated with the physical body. The 6th house is connected with physical-related issues. Now, it could be the start of something minor, associated with the intestines or abdomen, the spleen, or the pancreas. It might just be some minor bruising in that area. Remember, this is just a new moon, not it's not like an eclipse or any. So when this transit takes place, and if there's any injury or a health-related issue, it's likely to be something more of a minor nature. Now, or it could be a minor digestive problem. That's another example. And also too, it's also important to look at the aspects this makes to points in your chart, as this could impact its delineation and interpretation. Now, this is going to actually, interestingly enough, it's going to make a tight conjunction to my natal South Node in Virgo in the 5th house. Let's see where it's at exactly. Now, this could manifest in a number of ways. In manifold ways. Now, the one way this may be expressed, it could be starting, which is the new moon, again, where I'm actually going back to, which is the South Node, something associated with analytical and intellectual, which is Virgo, amusement and enjoyment, which is the 5th house. Again, as I was talking about before, possibly doing projecting and extrapolating, which is Virgo, sports, which is the 5th house data. I may be going back to making those football prognostication videos, which I analyze the teams that are playing each other. Now, it's interesting, the conjunction to the South Node can indicate this is something I may really actually be naturally proficient in. And it will also be making a sextile to my natal Mercury in Cancer. And this could be beneficial in articulating what I am when I am analyzing the sports matchups. And with Mercury being in Cancer, it could also be positive for extemporizing and speaking off the cuff when doing so. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.